Welcome to this explainer. We're going to completely demystify the quirks of OpenSSL on Microsoft Windows today. If you're an IT engineer, a site reliability engineer, or really anyone working with Windows Server and CI runners, you already know this process isn't always smooth. In fact, it's usually a headache. But today, we're going to elevate your skills from a basic, frustrating install to complete, team-wide mastery.
Let's dive right in. Why does a standard cryptographic toolkit cause us so much frustration? I mean, it's a wildly common scenario, right? You've got highly skilled professionals literally burning an entire afternoon just trying to get a simple command line utility to work. So why exactly does this happen on Windows when it's practically invisible on other operating systems?
Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to look at the Windows OpenSSL mystery, why you might actually already have it, 4 different paths to installation, the notorious path error trap, how to verify a true installation, and finally, scaling OpenSSL for your team. Kicking things off with part 1, the Windows OpenSSL mystery. The core disconnect here is actually pretty simple. You see, nearly every Linux distribution ships OpenSSL right in its base image. But Windows, it doesn't. And hey, that's not some huge oversight by Microsoft. It's because Windows relies on its own perfectly capable native TLS implementation called S-Channel. That's the engine IIS.net and your native apps are actually using. So OpenSSL on Windows, it's always an add-on. You're installing it specifically for the command line toolkit, to generate keys or debug handshakes, not because the operating system needs it to survive. Basically, your Windows machine can be running perfectly healthy TLS even if the OpenSSL command is absolutely nowhere to be found. Moving right along to part 2, you might actually already have it installed. Here's a massive shortcut for you. If you have Git for Windows installed on your machine, and let's be honest, a huge percentage of developers do, you already have OpenSSL. Git bundles it directly right out of the box to handle its HTTPS operations. Literally, all you have to do is open up Git Bash and type OpenSSL version. The crucial takeaway here is that this quick 5-second check in Git Bash will instantly prove if you even need to bother with a full installation. If it spits back a version string, you're done. For ad hoc certificate inspection or just generating a quick CSR, that bundled binary is 100% sufficient. It's honestly kind of funny how many of us have this tool sitting right there on our hard drives without even realizing it. Okay, part 3, let's look at the 4 paths to installation. So, if you do need a full install, your chosen route really depends entirely on your specific environment constraints, not just what you prefer. If you just need a standard system-wide install on Windows 10 or 11, just use winget. It's built right in, super easy. Now, if your org already manages software via Chocolatey, stick with Chocolatey so it fits your existing fleet tooling. On the other hand, if you're working on an air-gapped server or dealing with really strict change control, you're going to want the signed GUI installer from sleprub.com. And finally, if your day-to-day work is fundamentally Linux-shaped and you need to match a Linux production environment, honestly, just bypass Windows entirely and use WSL. All right, on to part 4, the notorious path error trap. I guarantee you've probably seen one of these 3 exact error strings pop up in Command Prompt, PowerShell, or Git Bash. And, the natural reaction is to panic, assume the whole installation failed, and try installing it all over again. But, spoiler alert, getting this error does not mean your installation failed. In almost every single case, the binary is sitting exactly where it should be on your hard drive. The issue is just that your shell can't find it. So before you go and reinstall, run this quick directory check. If the file actually lists back to you, reinstalling is a totally wasted step. You simply have a path problem. Your system just has no clue what directory to look in when you type the command. So here is your permanent cure. Walking through these 5 exact steps guarantees your system actually knows where to look. Just use the Windows key plus R to run sysdm.cpl, hit the Advanced tab, click Environment Variables, and then under System Variables, edit the path to add the exact folder where OpenSSL lives. But hold on a second. If you go right back to the terminal you already had open, the command's still gonna fail, and you're gonna think my fix was totally bogus. Here's why. Environment variables are inherited at launch, meaning terminals are essentially just snapshots in time. You can't reach backward into a running process and update its path. You absolutely must close and restart your terminal, and honestly, sometimes even your IDE, for that master copy update to finally take effect. That brings us to part 5, verifying true installation functionality. Think about this for a second. When you type a command, which binary is actually answering you?
If you run where.exe OpenSSL, you can see every single place your system finds a match. And if multiple paths come back, the very first one listed is the one that wins. This is a super common trap on Windows. It means your shell might be resolving to some bundled LibreSSL binary hidden deep inside another tool entirely, rather than the fresh version you just painstakingly installed.
And this right here is exactly why a simple version string check isn't quite enough for true verification. Sure, getting a version response proves the command resolves, but actually generating a real RSA key by running OpenSSL genresant, that proves the installation is functionally sound. It also confirms that your cryptographic operations aren't being silently intercepted and killed by an aggressive corporate antivirus, which, by the way, is a surprisingly underdiagnosed issue on managed Windows machines. Finally, we reach Part 6, Scaling OpenSSL for your team. When you're scaling up, your biggest enemy is version drift. This is the stuff that causes those chaotic, completely untraceable failures. Imagine this scenario. A TLS handshake succeeds locally on a developer's machine, but then totally fails in the CI pipeline. Or a cipher suite is negotiated perfectly in staging, but gets rejected outright in production. The kicker? Nothing in the error logs is going to explicitly point at version drift. So your team ends up burning precious hours analyzing the certificate itself instead of realizing that the underlying tool chains are just totally mismatched.
To combat this mess, there are 3 core practices you really need to adopt. First up, always pin your OpenSSL major versions in your manifests and Docker files, basically anywhere TLS behavior is sensitive. Second, output the OpenSSL version right at the top of your CI pipeline logs. This makes drift instantly visible rather than something you have to guess at later. And third, be highly cautious of application teams, especially those using Java, who might be shipping their own custom OpenSSL binaries. Those will completely bypass the system-level toolkit we just worked so hard to install.
Oh, and a quick but super vital note for anyone operating in heavily regulated environments. If you are bound by FIPS validation constraints, please be aware that simply installing the open source toolkit is not sufficient for compliance. You absolutely need a vendor-supplied validated module. A stock open source install just isn't going to cover you legally, no matter what that version string prints out. And that brings our explainer to a close. We've untangled the mess of S-channel versus OpenSSL, uncovered that awesome Git Bash shortcut, navigated the correct installation paths, and permanently squashed that notorious path error. But I want to leave you with this one thought to chew on. You've successfully tamed OpenSSL on one machine today, but how secure and reliable is your team's entire pipeline if every single CI runner speaks a completely different cryptographic dialect? Think about it. Take control of your team's toolchain today, standardize those environments, and stop letting version drift steal your valuable time.